Hey, Coach Miller here, and today I want to talk all about college lacrosse recruiting and the process involved in that, and how you can do the right things to go and play at your dream school. So I want to introduce Coach Matt Kerwick. He's a great friend of mine. We coached together at Georgetown many years ago, and since that time he's been the head coach at Hobart, he's been the head coach at Jacksonville, and he was the head coach at Cornell University. And when he was the head coach at Cornell, we took a trip up there and talked all about Division I lacrosse recruiting, and he has a lot to share with you. See, the whole BTB Lax crew was up at Cornell for the day, and after we finished filming, we headed over to the hospitality school to have lunch at the hotel school. It's actually a really nice hotel and restaurant, and they train undergrads in hotel administration. It's really cool. But as we were sitting there getting a bite to eat and shooting the breeze, Coach Kerwick said something that really blew my mind. He said, "You know, it's interesting because all those recruitment killers we talked about were spot on. And thinking about it, I really believe that they're symptoms of a much larger problem that these prospective student athletes and their parents have. And I think what it really comes down to, whether you're being recruited or not, is presentation." I think right then a light bulb went off above my head because it sounded really similar to something I had heard just a few weeks before. Let me explain. See, not only did we sit down for a day with Coach Kerwick, but we also sat down with two other guys, absolute top recruiting coaches in the nation today, towering figures in NCAA men's lax. Scott Urich at UDC and the son of legendary coach Dave Urich at Georgetown, and Jim Berkman at Salisbury. The guy has 10 national championships in the last 20 years. That's remarkable. And these three guys all told us basically the exact same thing, that while stick skills and athleticism were of course important, they were way further down the list of things that they were looking for in a prospective student athlete. So what were they looking for? Well, a young man who was the right fit for their program. And how would they know whether that prospect was going to be the right fit or not? Well, it came down to how that young man presented himself. The package, the total package of academics, character, work ethic, and lacrosse skills, in that order. But here's the thing. It's not quite as simple as, well, I've got good grades, I'm a good kid, I play hard, and I'm a pretty good stick handler, because absolutely none of that matters if you can't practically force these college coaches and recruiters to see all that. There's an ocean of jerseys and helmets out there that you have to stand out from. A flood of emails coming into coaches' inbox from athletes wanting to play at their school. You have to present yourself to coaches in a way that makes you desirable. Now, if you've got a kind of quizzical look on your face right now, I get it. I mean, presentation? Because if you're like most people, you probably think that coaches and recruiters are primarily concerned with your stick skills and athleticism. I mean, you're trying to play a sport in college, right? It'd be pretty logical to assume that how good you were at the sport would be the primary driver for a coach. And you'd be dead wrong. Because when you learn how to present yourself as the ideal candidate for that spot on the roster, that's when these guys start beating a path to your door, offering you a better financial aid package, etc., whatever it is, competing to have you on their roster and not the other guys. You see, presentation is the key to taking you from where you are right now, frustrated and anxious with the recruiting process, logging hundreds of miles in the car, going to every tournament and camp you can get to because you're afraid of missing that one opportunity to get noticed. Worried that because you don't live in an area that's a traditional lacrosse hotbed that you'll get overlooked. Hearing about other kids that were committing left and right early in the process and wondering what they have that you don't. And feeling like you're inside a recruitment black hole that's sucking up your time, your energy, and your wallet. To instead being cool and confident with the process, knowing that you're doing everything exactly right and having college coaches and recruiters beating a path to your door. So why am I telling you all this? Because we know already for a fact that you have serious problems with how you present yourself to these coaches and recruiters. And if you just avoided the pitfalls, some obvious, some not, it would really put you head and shoulders above the competition in the coach's eyes, practically overnight. So how the heck do you do all that? Well, Coach Kerwick had something to say about that too. He said, you know, most parents and kids are flying blind. This whole process is something that families do once in their life, unless there's a younger son who's going to play in college too. And there's no established game plan. There's no roadmap for them to follow. They're going to talk to their high school and club coach, maybe some parents that went through the process before, but there's nothing concrete, bulletproof, something that laid out every step in detail. Not just what to do, but when to do it, how to do it, and why doing it a certain way can greatly increase your chances of being recruited. A game plan that would not only fix all those recruitment killers we just filmed, but prevent these kids from even getting close to them in the first place. So this got the wheels turning in everyone's head. Why wasn't there a game plan that told you exactly what to do each semester starting in 8th grade and told you how to catch up quickly even if you're starting later in the process? So we went back to the drawing board immediately. We called up coaches Urich and Berkman, and we spent 6 months in the lab working alongside these 3 coaches. And I think you might be excited what I'm about to share with you today, because we just put the finishing touches on a program we call the Recruitment Roadmap. It's a combination package, a 60-page ebook, and several hours of online video. Oh, and there's also audio podcasts and complete text transcripts of the videos as well. It's like a GPS, always telling you where to turn, what to do next, and keeping you on track toward your goal, playing at a dream school. A done-for-you step-by-step guide that starts in 8th grade and finishes your senior year, goes semester by semester, and covers absolutely everything that you can simply follow and not have to worry about. And I want to walk you through what you're about to discover inside it. But first, I've got to tell you this. Coaches Berkman, Urich, and Kerwick know that recruiting the right talent year after year is what leads to lasting success in college lacrosse. And after more than 70 years of combined experience trying to pick out the diamonds in the rough, well, they know a thing or two about looking for a prospective student athlete in terms of what to look for from academics, character, work ethic, and physicality. They know what their program needs next year, what it will need 3 years from now, the broad range of speed, strength, and stick skills at each position. If they get it wrong, they'll be out of a job. They deal with the most complex recruiting dilemmas every single day, whether it's communicating with prospects, their coaches, and parents, making sure academics are on track, scheduling time to scout everyone, distributing scholarship money, organizing visits, or how about building a program from the ground up in its first year, like Coach Urich with UDC or Coach Kerwick did at Jacksonville. The list goes on and on. And the single most important piece, they're the ones sitting on the other side of the table. They know exactly how an athlete can pique their interest by presenting themselves the right way, even if you're not the best player on the field. And they're going to reveal exactly how you can do that. So I want to share with you what each of these coaches brings to the table inside of the recruitment roadmap. Let's start with Coach Kerwick at Cornell, because for all you guys out there shooting for D1, he's the man. No doubt about it, Cornell Lax is a program that represents the pinnacle of both academic and athletic success. That's why we wanted to make sure we got a hold of Coach Kerwick for you, so he can reveal how you can land a spot on a roster at a school like Cornell. It's no secret that as one of the top academic and athletic programs in men's lacrosse, Cornell is recruiting some prospective student athletes pretty early. So for those of you who are struggling to wrap your heads around the early accelerated recruiting process, you've got to hear what Coach Kerwick has to say. Because here's the thing. Coach says that he actually saves 2, 3, sometimes 4 spots in each recruiting class until very late, sometimes senior year in the process, to make sure he doesn't miss the late bloomers. If you're thinking that you want to snag one of those spots, you're going to probably want to hear exactly what he's holding out for. Now, it probably goes without saying that as an Ivy League institution, an education from a school like Cornell doesn't come cheap. The cost of college is rising across the board. That's why we made sure that Coach laid out both athletic scholarship and the financial aid direct from the school rather than an athletic department. Both processes in plain English. Where Coach's expertise really shines is his explanations of how academics and athletics come together in the recruiting process. And since you're a student first and an athlete second, if you're aiming for an academic institution like Cornell, his advice is going to go well beyond what a college guidance counselor is going to be able to offer you. He'll also show you how to reach out to coaches and make contact with them for the very first time, and how to effectively stay in contact with those coaches, even if you're too young for some forms of NCAA contact. The cherry on the top is that Coach hasn't always been at Cornell. He actually spent years at other D1 programs like Georgetown, Jacksonville, and Hobart. But he also cut his teeth building standout D3 programs like Randolph-Macon and Alfred University. He's one of the few coaches that has seen success at every division level. Even if you think you might be aiming for Division 1, 2, or 3, Coach is a goldmine of actionable information.
I want to introduce Scott Urich. Scott Urich is one of my best friends. We coached together for years at Georgetown, and since that time, he went on to coach at UDC, started that program, a Division II university, and now he's a head coach at a prestigious high school at Georgetown Prep right in Washington, D.C. And we actually coach against him because I'm at Gonzaga now, so I see him all the time. Anyway, he knows a lot about lacrosse, and he's going to tell you all about the intricacies involved with Division II lacrosse recruiting.
Coach Urich proved himself as a top recruiter at Cornell and Georgetown, and now he's taken his talents to the nation's capital in the D2 ranks at UDC to start a program from scratch.
And not only that, he happens to be one of the top players of his generation. He was one of the top scorers in the country in college, and after graduating, one of the top scorers in the MLL. He also led Team USA in scoring at the 2006 World Games. He credits his success on the field to his unique ability to see opportunities where other guys didn't. To say that Coach applies that same mentality to recruiting is an understatement. In building a new program from the ground up, he knew he'd have to find opportunities, diamonds in the rough, where other coaches weren't looking. He brought players in from everywhere: Idaho, Washington, Texas, California, Minnesota, Colorado, Florida, and just about every non-traditional state you can think of. Oh yeah, he goes to Canada a ton too. If you're a good player, he'll find you. It doesn't matter if you live in a non-traditional lacrosse area or not. But there's one more incredible thing I want to tell you about Coach Urich. He wasn't highly recruited as a player. He was only recruited by a small handful of D1 and D3 schools. He knows better than anybody what it feels like to be overlooked. Frankly, even when he was leading the MLL in scoring, he didn't get the respect he deserved either. Not until he led Team USA in scoring at the World Games did people stop and say, wow, this guy is really good. So he knows how you feel when you're getting passed over by college coaches. And he's going to make sure it doesn't happen to you by teaching you how to distinguish yourself from other kids both on and off the field. Next up is Coach Berkman. He's one of the greatest lacrosse coaches in the game, and he has the numbers to back it up. 10 Division III national championships, 21 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances. His success is just staggering. But how does Coach build and maintain year after year a powerhouse program like Salisbury? Well, there's a saying that success breeds success, and certainly Coach Berkman's track record helps Salisbury attract some of the top players in the country year after year. But Coach says it's not all about him. He attributes all this success to his players. That's why he spends 365 days a year recruiting the guys he knows are right for his program. That's what keeps the freight train rolling. Now, Coach has a lot of kids that want to play for him. There's a lot of helmets and jerseys at Salisbury's Prospect Days. So he's going to tell you how you can distinguish yourself from everyone else on and off the field as well. But once you've caught his attention, how do you present yourself effectively so that your name gets written and moved to the top of the prospect board back in his office? Coach is going to reveal this secret as well. And of course, Coach Berkman also happens to be in a league of his own when it comes to helping student athletes develop both physically and academically once they get to Salisbury. After 21 years, he knows what it takes. So he's going to walk you through a typical day at his program so you can get a feel for what it would be like to succeed both on the field and in your academics. Simply put, there is no one better in the country than these three guys to help guide you through the process of getting recruited to play at the college of your dreams. We're going to make it even better because the recruitment roadmap isn't all you're going to get with your order today. We're actually going to toss in some awesome bonuses, absolutely free. The first bonus is access to all 7 Recruitment Killer Fix videos. The 7 recruitment killers are the 7 biggest symptoms of not knowing how to present yourself to college coaches, and you need to fix them immediately if you want to give yourself a chance of being recruited in college. So what we want to do for you today is give you the fixes for the other 6 recruitment killers absolutely free. Don't let any one of them derail you. Just sit back and let Coach Kerwick guide you through avoiding these deadly pitfalls. The second bonus is our color-coded printable PDF recruitment calendars. So you've got access to all the coach's knowledge inside the roadmap. But parents know one of the best ways to make sure that you and your kids stay on top of everything is to print out a calendar and stick it on the fridge so you can look at it month by month. We really wanted to make sure that you felt absolutely 100% prepared for everything and completely on top of the process. It simply can't get any easier to make sure that nothing slips past you. And the last bonus is something I call the super bonus. This might be one of the coolest bonuses we've ever put together. We've had hundreds of incredible student athletes go through the recruitment roadmap, really top-notch prospects. And we've also made friends with a ton of guys along the way in the past 25 years who went on to play in college and beyond. So we figured, why stop with just our own instruction? Why not get their top tips as well? So we sent out an email asking, what's the single best tip or piece of advice for getting recruited you've ever received? If you could only share one piece of advice with a friend, this would be it. We got tons of responses. We went through every one of them and lifted the top 28. Why 28? Because when you join the recruitment roadmap, we're going to send you a top recruitment secret, a golden nugget of wisdom every single day of the course, straight to your inbox with no filter. If just one tip made such a huge difference for somebody in the recruiting process, wouldn't it be awesome to have access to 28? We debated whether or not to include this bonus because the material's so good it really should be its own course, priced somewhere around $200. But hey, we figured why not make this offer even more of a slam dunk? All right, so here's maybe the best part. We offer 100% 60-day love it or your money back unconditional money back guarantee, and here's how that works. All you need to do is send us a one-line email letting us know you aren't satisfied, and you'll receive a fast and full refund, and you won't be on our bad list or anything like that. We'll still remain friends, and you'll still have the opportunity to enjoy all our other programs, both free and paid. But hey, give it a test drive. Use the roadmap as a guide to stay focused, like a GPS in your car, always knowing what to do next. Watch all the videos. Listen to what our top coaches, Matt Kerwick, Scott Yerk, and Jim Berkman, recommend for each step in the process. What they think you should do to maximize your chances of playing in college. Read the entire handbook PDF from cover to cover. Print out the color-coded calendars and stick them on your fridge so you know exactly what you should be doing each day. It's all laid out for you simply to follow. Once you've done all that, ask yourself if you haven't become far more comfortable with the recruiting process, if you're less frustrated and anxious, and if that has not happened and you get to be the judge, or if for any reason you decide the recruitment roadmap is not for you, or if you just change your mind or you're having a rough day, or for no reason at all, simply return the product for a full 100% refund, no questions asked, and no hassles either. That's how confident we are in this program. So here's what I recommend. Don't decide whether or not the recruitment roadmap is right for you today. Instead, just pick up your risk-free copy at this special price. Put it all to the test. Let these all-star coaches guide you. See what it feels like to finally be in full control of the process. Take it for a test drive for a full 60 days. And if it turns out it's just not for you, no worries. You'll get a full refund with a simple email. Okay, so that's it for now. The coaches and I really hope you take up this opportunity, and we can't wait to start working with you inside the recruitment roadmap.
All right, so there you have it. Just click the link right below this video. You're going to be taken to the page to see all the details about the recruitment roadmap. Dive in, start following the steps so you can go and play at the school of your dreams and play college lacrosse, which is an amazing experience. Coach Miller, talk soon.